Oh, you didn't want any donuts. You know what? I'm not going to have any donuts yet either. All right. Donovan, hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Yeah. Another day alive, so that's good.
Absolutely. What is it? Our brother Chris Winters, who used to be here, he used to say another day above the dirt. So
Yeah.
I always like that. But,
6 feet up, not 6 feet down.
We can spend the whole 45 minutes to an hour here just throwing cliches at each other.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Well, hey, I just want to say thank you for being here, man. Your story, and we're going to get into that here as we talk, is extremely moving. And while a lot of this conversation, I do want to be about, IUPAT and union life and what it means to be a union member.
Sure.
I really just kind of want this to be a conversation between two union brothers. And I think the best way to start is to but basically to dive into how you ended up sitting here today with me having this conversation. So, about a couple months ago, I think we came in front of your apprenticeship class. You're what year apprentice are you?
I'm a third-year apprentice.
Okay. Local 188.
Yes.
Glazer, strong.
Yes, sir.
So we've got this Building Union Power campaign that we've got going on right now where essentially we're trying to rebuild our union power. Mm-hmm. And most of that means bringing our members back together and understanding that we are one giant union and one powerful force. So my intention by going in front of the apprentices is to talking to all of you and hoping to find ways to get you more involved and more excited about, our union. And when we came and talked to your class, as we were leaving, you damn near chased us out the door.
Yeah.
And immediately basically expressed your love for this union and, just the labor movement. So that's why you're sitting here today.
Yeah.
I'm doing way too much talking here, so I want to hear from you. But let's start with, how did you become a union member? Let's start there.
Well, my dad, he's actually part of the 302, the operating engineers.
Here in Seattle?
Yep.
Okay.
And then, but my brother is actually part of the 188. And he actually,
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, so he works for All New now too as well.
Okay.
But I was surveying for about 6 years before this, non-union, and he was kind of on me, like, hey, come on, you should get in, you should check this out.
What were you doing before?
I was surveying.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry you said that. But
Yeah.
And that was non-union?
Non-union,
Okay.
yeah. And we did a lot of prevailing wage and stuff like that, but, I didn't have the same benefits.
Yeah.
And then I got into this union, I don't know, a couple months after, I think it was April of 22.
Okay.
And so it was 5 months after my son was born.
Yeah.
And it kind of changed a lot of things for me
Sure.
about where I wanted to go and what I thought was important.
Becoming a father changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, just who my allegiances were to, and the place that I was working with before was a good company.
Yeah.
But I needed something better.
Yeah.
I needed something better for my family, for my wife, for my baby son.
Yeah.
And, I finally listened to my brother, and now that I'm in, I'm like, man, I should have done this so much sooner.
Let me ask, is it an older brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you took the older brother's older wisdom, if you will.
Yeah.
What does he think now that you...
Oh, he's stoked.
Yeah.
He was when I had to go in and pass, the written exam and stuff like that, which was pretty easy. It was pretty much just simple math questions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I called him up and I go, hey, guess what? And he goes, what? And I was like, I just took my exam and I passed. And he goes, so you're in? And I go, yeah, dude. And so he was pretty stoked, and he goes, let's go. And then I ended up calling All New Glass, because that's the company that he told me to get in with.
And that's who you're working with now?
That's who I'm working with now, gotcha. Yeah. And he said, get in with this company. I promise you, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And so I called, and I didn't hear anything back at first, and then I called again, and the shop foreman, he answered, and I told him, hey, I passed this testing, and, I'm just trying to get in somewhere.
Yeah.
and it was a little slow, so they didn't have anything in the moment. Sure. He said, okay, call me back at this date. And so, this date, this time. So I was sitting there watching my phone, waiting for the seconds to run down. And then I was like, I'm going to call him exactly at this time. I don't want to burden him with an early call or a late call. So I'm going to call him when this second hits. I'm pressing call. And so I called him, and he said, we still don't have anything. Give me another call in a week. And he didn't answer when I called him back. And so in the course of...
Donovan's like, God damn it, shit. What?
Yeah. In the course of like 10 minutes, I called every single department at the company and left a voicemail saying, hey, Garrett said to call. And then finally he called me back and he said, don't do that. This is my phone number. Only call this one.
So wait, so don't do this. I mean, did it cause some shit or did it?
No, I think it was just like... people were like, hey, why is this guy calling us asking about you?
But it worked.
Yeah, it worked. And I guess he said, hey, this kid really wants a job.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah. Here you are, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good decision?
Oh, yeah. 100%. The only bad thing I'll say about it is I just wish I did it sooner.
Yeah. It's funny because, I hear that a lot. And, even for myself, it was years and years and years until I found myself pushing 40 years old, and then now I'm in the labor movement, But
yeah.
Well, on that note then, what is different today that wasn't before you made that change?
Well, so I worked construction for a while before I decided to go union.
Okay.
And that's what my dad did. That's what, a lot of my family, we've kind of always been blue collar workers. Yeah. And
is your dad a glazer?
No, my dad's a welder.
Okay.
And so we've kind of always worked construction. Yeah. And I would say a big difference is I had to pay for my insurance out of my paycheck. Uh-huh. And so, and then any other benefits and stuff like that, like all of that came out of my own personal paycheck.
Sure.
And so having the benefit package and stuff like that.
So today it's not coming out of your paycheck, is what you're saying?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
What I make on my paycheck is what I take home.
Yeah.
And then I have the entire rest of it, which is, which covers both of my kids and my wife.
Yeah.
And I always say this, and people kind of give me a weird look at first, but I go, I could go out and have 10 kids right now, and they'd all be covered.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to.
I was going to ask.
I'm not going to, but I could, and they would be covered. And my wife goes, don't you dare.
None of my business, but how many are you thinking about having?
I think we're hung up on 3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah. So big family.
Yeah.
But you can do that now.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, with us having to drop down to one income, that's hard to do nowadays. Yeah. It's almost undoable with a lot of the wages and stuff that people are making. And so it's not feasible. Mm-hmm. You almost have to have 2 incomes.
Absolutely.
And that's why my wife was working and then I was working.
Yeah.
But I'm just an apprentice and I'm still working my way up, but it's tight right now, but I'm still able to afford it. And as I continue to move up, it'll be easier for us to afford the things that we want in life.
Well, common refrain you hear about apprenticeship is, you what is it, earn to learn, or, basically you're getting paid while you're learning the trade versus, other scenarios like going to college or whatever, which aren't bad choices, but they're not for everybody. And so, you mentioned, and by all means, if there's anything I ask that is a little too personal, tell me to go to hell, but, but you do mention that, you're down to 1 income right now.
Yeah.
And I know why, and it's the story that you shared with us that, the day that we met.
Yeah.
And whatever you're willing to share, I would love to, to hear and share with the world, and you seem pretty open about it. So, I'll just start by, can I ask how is it Erin, your wife, ended up? Well, why are you down to 1 income? What happened?
Yeah, so we have our son Archie, and he is disabled. He was born healthy. He wasn't born disabled. And I got a call from my wife one day. It was March 11th, 2024? No, 23. It was it'll be 2 years in this March.
Not long ago.
So 2024.
Okay.
And I got a call from my wife saying that our son had fallen or something, that she had gotten a call from the babysitter, and so somebody needed to go pick him up. And so I said, well, I mean, I did all the transport. I picked him up, dropped him off. The babysitter's house was just a few minutes away from my work.
Yeah.
And so I said, I hopped off the phone and I said, hey, I gotta leave right now. I just gotta go get my son. It didn't sound too urgent. I mean, and even from what the babysitter had portrayed to my wife, it didn't sound urgent.
Sure.
And so they go, yeah, no, dude, it's your son. It's your kid. It's your family. Go. Like, there was not even a question. Nobody,
Sure.
when it comes to, your family, like, they're like, no, just go. And so I ended up going, and I was driving there, and I pulled in, parked the car, and then when I walked in through the slider, she was sitting on the couch, kind of holding him, bouncing him like this, not aggressively, but just kind of bouncing him. And his arms were kind of locked back and his legs were locked out straight. He was breathing, and it sounded like snoring. And I found out later that that's actually called the death rattle, I believe.
Jesus. Okay.
Which is like almost everybody does it when they're dying.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't find out that till later.
Yeah.
But at that point, she had not called the paramedics. She hadn't called 911 or anybody, so I called. And I remember when they got there, I was on the phone with the operator and told her, hey, I hear him pulling in, so I'm going to run outside, because it was in a multiple unit, like quadruplex kind of type deal. So I ran outside, I flagged him, said, hey, this is where we need to go. They came in, they checked him, and then almost instantly knew that he was not okay. They looked at his pupils, and his pupils were dilating, almost blown out, which I guess was a sign of a brain injury. And they put him in the ambulance. They ran him out there, and I didn't want to be in their way because it was, I couldn't help.
Yeah.
No,
of course,
the best thing that I could do was get them there and then step out of the way.
Yeah.
So I walked to the back of the ambulance and was just kind of watching, and I noticed that, they had put defibrillator patches on him and stuff, and that didn't seem to be doing anything, and so they had to intubate him, which is where they shove a breathing tube down their throat. And then his, he started like twisting and stuff as they were making sure that he got oxygen, and they started breathing for him with the bag. I mean, at that point, I just fell to my knees in the street.
Of course, dude. Yeah.
And I had such a pain in my chest, and I just kind of dropped and honestly just started screaming.
Yeah.
And the babysitter had come up to me and asked me if I was okay. I told her to get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
And then I just walked over to my car and I started hitting my car because I didn't know what had happened.
Yeah.
But, I knew that it wasn't great, obviously. And so I called my wife and I said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but you should probably get here. There, Archie's in the back of an ambulance. And
so they got him to the hospital.
Yeah. And so she came, and then before she got there, the lead medic came out, and he said, hey, and he was talking to the fire chief or whatever, and he goes, I don't know what's going on, but this kid's really messed up. We need to take him to Harborview. And so by the time my wife got there, she comes and he says, hey, he's ready for transport. They had actually tried to call him an airlift, but they just didn't have anything that was available at the time, so they had to drive him up there.
Yeah.
And so we actually found out how close our son was to not making it later on, but the medic had said, hey, we're taking him to the hospital right now, and they had to take him to Harborview. And they said, if you want to come in and give him a hug and kiss and say goodbye,
Jesus.
now is the time.
Yeah.
And, I don't think in the moment we really understood the gravity of it. And so, I let my wife go in first. She went in there and she, told him goodbye.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I couldn't even keep my hand still.
Sure.
And I, gave him a hug and a kiss, told him I loved him. And then we went to our car. I called my dad, and he just lived a few minutes down the street. And I said, hey, Dad, Archie's hurt. They're taking him to Harborview. I can't drive to Seattle. I need to come up there, and I need you to drive me to Seattle. And so me and my wife, we went up there. She rode with his girlfriend, and I rode with him. When we got there, it was only a couple minutes, and they pulled us back and told us that they had to do emergency surgery on him where they removed half of his skull.
Oh, my God.
Because of the brain swelling. They said, if we don't do this, he will die. And we don't know if he's going to make it even if we do it. And they did it. And the first 72 hours that we were there, I didn't sleep at all.
Sure.
Legitimately did not go to sleep for the first 3 days. I stayed awake the entire time.
Yeah.
And he did end up pulling through, obviously, but he was on life support for a while. We had our pastors and stuff come from our church, and it was just a very, very big.
Yeah. But he's here.
He is here.
Good.
And, we spent a total of 10 days on life support. We spent 40 days at Harborview, and then another about 2.5 months at Children's Hospital in Seattle.
And
he ended up having a fractured skull and 3 fractured vertebrae, tears behind both of his retinas, brain bleeding, brain swelling, and quite a bit.
I know you're currently pursuing legal channels and stuff too, and I don't want to put you through having to discuss all of that, nor do. Feel free to share any of that you want, but if you don't mind, I'd like to skip over that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But because I do want to hear more about the fact that Archie's here today.
Yeah.
And there's 2 incredible parents that he has that are fighting for him daily. One of the ways that you, and specifically Erin, your wife, have been advocating for Archie's recovery is, I know you've got a couple social media accounts called Archie's Recovery. Yeah,
and they're my wife's accounts, and so like the handle isn't that, but that's what comes up, and it's it's like AKA_Erin or Erwin. I don't.
We can find all of that.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring it up, one is because I want to make sure that the world does know about the
Sure.
Archie story, and they know that those accounts are there, and to help support. But you said this happened in 2023-ish?
2024. It was March 11th, yeah.
So we're looking at 2 years ago. Can you kind of tell me what's been going on for the past 2 years since that day?
Well, so when I was in the hospital, actually, after I called my dad and, told him that I needed him to drive me up there, I don't know why, but it clicked through my head. I got to call my boss and tell him I'm not going to be in tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
And so I called my foreman and I said, hey, Garrett, I don't know what's going on, but, my son is in the back of an ambulance and he's going to the hospital. And he goes, what? And I go, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be into work. And he said, do not worry about it. And
So all new had your back.
Oh, 100%. And they actually, for the first 2 weeks that I was in the hospital, I mean, they made sure that I was squared away on finances and everything. And then also everybody at the shop and in the field, and then even an additional couple shops. There's one that's not part of our union, but then one that is, ABF, they actually pitched in as well and made sure that my mortgage was covered, all of our bills were covered, and we didn't have to worry about any financial things while we were in the hospital because it was a lot, and they just wanted to make sure that, you know, that we weren't burdening ourselves with that, and they
Well, this is where, and if I mean not to, I guess I am interrupting. Excuse me, but
no, you're fine.
when we met that day, you honestly, man, that's so much more information about Archie's story, your family story, than you gave us that day in the 30 minutes or whatever that we talked. But even through all of that, the main thing you wanted to get across to us in that hallway that day was that all of this, you know, the labor movement, you know, being part of a union, your union, excuse me, your union brothers and sisters, seemed to mean the world to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell me? Yeah, tell me why.
You know, when I first started at All New, I had gotten the spiel about, you know, oh, we're like a family. You know, we may bicker and argue and, you know, razz each other, give each other shit, and that's true.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we will have your back.
Yeah.
And I had worked for countless companies before, you know, where they said that. And it never seemed to be the case, you know, and that's another thing too, that, you know, I've seen it on more than just my case. I've seen, you know, where people get injured on the site and, you know, it's bad injury or something. And one of the things that I hear is, like, the first thing they did was they started a GoFundMe to help pay for medical bills and make sure that their family was squared away. And so, like, it's not a singular case for me. It seems that we actually genuinely care about each other, you know, and it's exactly like having a sibling, right? Like, we
do say brother and sister a lot, don't we?
Yeah, you may talk shit to each other.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, like, nobody's gonna fucking pick on my brother.
Right.
At the playground.
Except me.
Yeah.
Except
that's my job. You're not doing that.
Right, dude. Yeah.
And so, you know, I had gotten the whole spiel about, you know, oh, we're like a family, and I go, oh, okay, you know, whatever. And then I had gotten some of the razzing. You know, it honestly, it's not too bad. They're a very good group of people there. And but then when everything happened with my son, they just immediately, without me even asking, I mean, they were texting me, you know, individually, you know, asking for checkups, asking how he was doing, asking how I was doing, asking if they could help in any way. And when I would like copy and paste the text and just send it, and nobody seemed to care that they were all just getting the same text. And then it just kind of became where I was just informing my foreman, and he was telling everybody. So that way I didn't have to send, you know, a bunch of text messages out that day. But everybody was checking in. I mean, one of my coworkers even came to the hospital at one point. And I mean, I was talking to my boss on the phone, and he said, don't worry about it. When I came back to work, I wasn't on light duty, but they made it very easy for me to reacclimate. And they've continued to do that.
Good.
You know, they're very
brothers and sisters.
You know, they've done a very, very good job at taking care of me and my family, and I am so grateful to them. It is, I can't even put it into words. That's why you're going to catch me stumbling a bit. So
no, dude, you're not stumbling at all. I think you very articulately and poetically put. I mean, I think you nailed it. You did mention, and again, not to get into some of the kind of grosser details about it, but I do think they're important to mention. Which, you know, you mentioned a dollar figure that, if without your insurance and without the support of the folks you just mentioned, what was that dollar figure you were facing with everything?
Yeah, so we had gotten a statement that was forwarded to us, and that was just at the time. I mean, it's gone up since then.
Yeah.
But I believe when I read it, it was at like $3.9 million
Holy shit. Yeah.
for medical bills, because they had to do emergency surgeries. He does have a prosthetic skull in now on the part, because when they put it back in, it absorbed, and so his body treated it like a foreign object and broke it down. And so he has a prosthetic in, and so it's just like there would have been no way for me to afford that stuff, without the insurance and then people helping, and there was quite a few people too that weren't part of the union that also helped.
Yeah.
And it helped us, but getting that amount of support without even asking for it, and like I didn't even hint that I wanted it. I just said, hey, this is what's going on, and they didn't ask. They just did, and they just, nope, sit down. We're going to help you.
Yeah.
And that's very hard to find nowadays.
It's a weird world we're living in, and that's why, I was so excited when you came out in the hall and met us, and you can tell you're a very sweet and kind, human being, and
I try.
and your heart. You do a great job.
Some people driving by me on the road would say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, every once in a while you got to call an asshole, right? But
yeah, luckily I have tinted windows, so.
But either way, like I could tell immediately that, and I hate talking in cliches, but it's so easy to when it's this kind of conversation. But you bleed, not just union or IUPAT or 188 or all new, but you bleed humanity, man. You really do. And I know me sitting in this chair. That's why I do this work, right? Is because I know that what we're a part of is everything you just said. And I know that the world has forgotten that. And I don't just mean just in the labor movement or forgotten what a union is. That is true. But I do feel like we have forgotten that our neighbors are actually, our brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
And the only people that are going to take care of us are, our brothers and sisters, our neighbors. And, and so when you came out of the room, you didn't come out of the room to say, hey, I have a story that I'm trying to get out there for me and my family. You came out and you said, whatever I can do to help with this whole union thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, holy shit, dude, this guy has a son who just went through everything you just talked about, is still going through all of these things, and is extremely concerned about the well-being of this union, which is me, him, Harry sitting over here behind the camera, and everybody else, the millions of union members out there, and that's hard to find, I think, right now in this world, or at least we've been told it's hard to find right now, that everybody's so self-centered and, we're not caring about the collective.
Yeah.
And you demonstrated that everybody's full of shit, that there are human beings like Donovan. And honestly, I do believe that there's more of us out there like that.
I believe that there's quite a bit, actually. And honestly, I think it's more common than people think. Everybody's got their issues and their strifes and whatever, and so do I.
True.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I think people care about each other more than don't. It's just, it's not portrayed that way.
Sure.
And it's kind of just meant to divide. Like, I don't care what, have your opinion, do your thing, that doesn't mean I'm not going to love you.
Right.
You're a person.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, that's all that matters, man. People can have their own prerogative, their own opinions, their own ideals, their own morals, as long as they're not physically hurting somebody else or, actually causing damage to someone, what does it matter?
I agree. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with the labor movement, but if you know the industrial workers of the world, and, the logo says, an injury to one is an injury to all. Right.
Yeah.
And, well, let's if I can ask, so Archie is through, well, I don't even know if this is the right statement, but Archie's through the worst of it, or?
So, yeah, I mean, yes, he is in recovery. The worst of it was when we were in the hospital.
Of course.
He is in recovery right now, and we're trying to figure out ways to get him walking and talking.
I've seen like your Aaron's channels show. I mean, obviously a progression.
Yeah.
So I guess a better way for me to ask, what is progress in Archie's situation? I mean, what's the prognosis? What's the...
So he's got left-sided neglect. So he's not able to really use his left leg or his left arm, and the left side of his face also. He doesn't smile with it or anything like that. He does use the right side pretty good, and we've actually left the country. We went down and got stem cell therapy in Mexico, and then we also went to Indiana.
That's a whole other country too. I grew up in Illinois. I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually the place there that they offered like oxygen, like hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and intensive therapies and stuff like that. They were phenomenal there, and they actually did that out of their own pocket. They offered that to us at no charge. We just had to pay for travel. And that place, like, they're very good people there. And they saw his story, and they just wanted to help. And so that's another thing, you know, where somebody saw it, they just wanted to help. And so just another testament to, I think there's more good people than bad people.
You're making me start to believe it, my friend. You really are. But actually, I mean, I'm just a smartass all the time. But so I say that kind of smartassedly. But
well, I've heard it's better to be a smartass than a dumbass. So
that does sound like some shit you hear on a construction site, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
But it's true. But staying on course here, Mike. You know so where is Archie at today? Again, I haven't been through the entire Instagram feed or whatever, but what I've seen is it does look like there's, like you mentioned, specific therapies. It does look like there's certain milestones that were mentioned. I think, you know, walking isn't happening. Is that something they think will happen? Is that...
It is difficult because brain injuries are never the same. And so, like, one of my older brothers, not my older brother who got me into this union, but my other I have three. One of my other older brothers.
1, 2, 3, 4, right here.
He also had gotten a brain injury.
Oh Jesus!
And he was a teenager, and I'm not sure the specifics, but you know, it was significant. It wasn't as bad as my son's, but you know, he lost memory. He doesn't remember a pretty big portion of almost an entire year. And he kind of got reset back to being a toddler when he was like 14, I think.
Wow.
And you could never even tell now. You could never even tell. Like, he's fully functional. And so it's difficult to say with brain injuries. My son had 60% of his brain was damaged, though. And so with it being that significant of an injury, the chances of a full recovery are very, very low. But not impossible. And even if he doesn't have a full recovery, that doesn't mean that he can't be a fully functioning, you know, and do all these things that, you know, that you wouldn't be able to expect. It's about the effort that we put in.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you know, I mean, that effort and these therapies and this, I started asking about Archie because you had mentioned that Aaron's no longer working and that, you know, I mean, how much, I mean, I guess, like, you know, how many days of the week, the month, like, you know, are you guys going to therapy? Are you...
multiple times a week. You know, she takes him most of the time when I'm at work, but, you know, he'll go to therapies probably a couple times a week. And then also, you know, if we have doctor visits, like for a swallow evaluation, because he can't safely swallow. And so he's actually tube fed. He's got it's called a Mickey Mouse button. That's what they call it.
Okay, fair.
But it's a G tube, and so it's just a button right here. And so you unplug it, and then you hook his feet up, and that's how he gets all his medications and everything like that too. Or maybe it's right here. I don't know. It's on one side.
It's in there somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever had to have a conversation of this sort, so I don't know where to take it, but...
Yeah, it's my first time, too. I mean, not talking about it, but, you know, going through it.
No, sure, but...
Yeah.
I I mean, and there's so much to your story, man, here, and I, we could go on for 3 hours,
Oh,
but,
probably, yeah.
and you know what? By all means, you're invited in this. This is your union hall, and you're invited anytime to come share when you want. But there is something really great, I think, that we should probably remind the world here too, is that with this immense tragedy, there's, some really beautiful things that are still happening in your life. You have another child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's happy too, and we were very glad that she's a giggly baby because of, man, she.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine, like with
Yeah.
everything else, that'd be
Yeah. No, and Archie was a very happy baby too.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, we just get lucky, man. We
Yeah.
have happy babies,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
And so you're a family of 4. You
Yes.
said the cutoff was 3 or 4 kids, so
Yeah.
there might be a couple more on the way.
It's really up to her.
Well, either way, we don't need to share the world,
Yeah,
with the
I know.
world.
I
Your
said 10
personal-
earlier, but I'm not having 10.
But I guess I guess what I'm trying to get at is, what does the future look like for you? And if I can grossly bring back in, how the union is or a union, excuse me, I screwed up because that day I talked to you guys, I said, anybody that says the union, you need to check them. It's not the union, it's our union. It's a group of people that are, a union is a group of people and brothers and sisters. And you've done such a great job of explaining that. And your future as a union member, can you kind of articulate what you think the benefit, I don't know, tell me how life is going to be different moving forward now, even with all the tragedy and everything else
Well, honestly, having the benefits and things, just with the insurance alone, being able to help with that is phenomenal. But then, as my pay increases and then when we have votes and things like that and we can decide, it's also getting to retire.
Dude.
Getting to retire, everybody's talking about, when I was a kid, hearing, you get older and you collect Social Security, and now that I'm an adult, and I'm they're like, yeah, it's probably not going to be around.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be around when you can collect it. I'm like, story of my life.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Right.
That's fantastic. I'm glad that it'll be gone. But being able to retire,
Yeah.
And know that when I do, it's not contingent upon whether the government spends the money correctly or not.
Yeah.
It's something that I've been putting in.
Yeah.
And honestly, the people specifically at the 188, they're actually pretty smart from what I've been told when it comes to finances.
Yeah.
And they're, ours is pretty decent from what I hear for actually spending and coverage and what we have available.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
But,
Well, because what did you have before you became a union member?
I had to put into my own 401k,
Yeah.
But
was there any match?
There was a match.
Yeah.
But as soon as I came over here, I go, give me it. I'm pulling it out.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving that there.
Totally.
And, just kind of used it
Yeah.
to, pay for my house, which, by the way, isn't something that people my age get to do either.
Yeah.
How
old are you, by the way? Can I ask?
I'm 31.
Okay. You're
And
right. You're absolutely right. I'm 46, and we just bought our first house.
Yeah. See,
That tells you
I bought my house at 27.
Dude.
And it was right before my son was born. And what's funny is, so me and my wife, we were renting, and we were living with her younger brother, who actually lives next door to us now.
Okay, right on.
And he's renting next door to us. But so we were renting a duplex.
Yeah.
And I looked at my wife and I go, I love your brother, but
I know where you're going.
we are married and we need to get our own place.
Yes, totally.
And if you're watching this, Jordan, I do love you. And he knows that.
Love you, but we can't live together, brother. Yeah, I get it. It's a normal, very normal thing.
It's a normal thing,
totally.
and I didn't realize how normal it was
Yeah.
until I was in the
Yes,
situation.
Totally, dude.
And it was, no, can't do this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just, with her brother, it was everybody.
Sure.
Because we ended up moving in with my dad afterwards while we were looking to buy a house. Yeah. And we thought, because people from the previous generation had told us, oh yeah, it'll probably be a couple months till you can get a house. And so we got approved for the first time home buyer's loan, the FHA assistance and stuff like that. we went and put an offer in on a house. There was 44 other people that put an offer in.
Oh my God.
So there was way more that looked
God.
at the house.
And you guys ended up with it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay, I got you.
we were looking for a house for a year. And so we had the bright idea that, it'll be very easy to find a house.
Yeah.
We should have a baby. And then we'll get into a house and have our baby there. And that wasn't great planning. However, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have had our son, who is fantastic. So everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
But, we were in a little tiny, 10 by 10 bedroom at my dad's house.
Yeah.
And my wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
We had 3 cats. We had a dog. And all of our house worth of stuff in the storage and then in this little tiny bedroom.
Totally.
And we needed to move. I love you too, Dad, but we needed to move. And we were looking forever and ever and ever. And I remember, my wife, she was pregnant, getting emotional, Any guy who has had a wife that's pregnant or is currently pregnant totally understands this.
Yeah.
And then any woman that's been pregnant gets it from the other side and understands it too. Or just anybody that's been around a pregnant lady. You're going to understand it. But she was very, very emotional and was like, no, we need to either rent, but I am not having my baby in this bedroom. And I go, that's totally okay with me.
Totally.
And we ended up finding this house, and she was 7.5 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And our realtor, she had brought a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
And I remember popping it open, and she took a video, and I just squirted it in my mouth and all over my face while we were in front of our house. And it was
in front of your poor pregnant wife who can't take a sip of it.
Oh, well, she was sitting there laughing. She was stoked, but she couldn't have any.
Yeah.
So, that's fine.
No, I love it.
I finished it.
And so now you're in a home.
Yeah.
You've got a family.
Yeah.
You've got a retirement.
Yep.
Let me go back to that word family. I mean, we keep using that. And you're right. Anybody who believes and bleeds this whole union life does use that a lot. Your family specifically, and you've already talked about it to some degree. I mean, you've been a union family for generations. Am I?
Yeah. Well, so my dad, he was part of the 302. Okay. My grandpa, I believe he was in the union, but he did airplanes and stuff like that.
Your brothers or just
my brothers? Mm-hmm. So one of my brothers is in our union. Okay. And then my other 2 brothers, they're correctional officers, and so they're in their union.
How does your whole family feel about union life?
Oh, my dad growing up, from the time that I turned an adult, get in, because he knew the benefits that it would have for me. And I think people look at unions as this big corporation, when in reality, it's a group of people who got together and decided that my skills are worth more.
Dude, that's we can end right here. No, but you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
And I think it gets a bad rap. And what a lot of people aren't understanding is if you had a company tell you, no, don't go over here, we're not going to do this. Yep. But then you have an individual who's actually doing it and a group of people who are actually doing it saying, no, check it out, look at it. Mm-hmm. The company is going to put their own vested interests first.
Sure.
As they have to do as a company. It's a business, they got to make a buck too. Yeah. But you can make a buck and still treat your employees well.
Absolutely.
And the company that I work for is, in my opinion, a shining beacon of that.
Yeah.
And
well, so let me ask, all new.
Yes.
As a shining beacon, I'm sure and again, their finances are none of my business. But the owner, I'm sure, as a business owner, is making pretty good money and living a pretty good life, and still understands that the people working for him need that as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't show up healthy. You can't have a family. You can't do all the things.
Yeah.
So the fact that the owner I mean, can I ask who the owner, what his first name is, I guess? Or her first
There's
name?
a couple owners. I know of Troy and Sonny.
Okay, so Troy and Sonny are, I'm sure, living comfortably.
Yeah.
You would say that you live comfortably. You know, it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to get better when you become a journey
It's
out.
going to get better, but
Yes.
honestly, like just being able to own something, and this is mine and my wife's. Like, if she decides, she gets a hair in her head and she decides she wants to paint the walls.
Yeah.
We don't have to ask anybody.
Right.
And she's not going to ask me. I'll tell you that.
Right.
She's just going to do it.
Good for her. Good for her, man. Yep.
But it's ours.
Yes.
If we want to build a garden outside,
Yes.
we can go do that.
Yes.
We don't have to ask anybody.
And so you and your coworkers get to have that.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. You've earned that.
Yeah.
The owner of the company you work for, or owners, understand that.
Yeah.
And they're not struggling, and they're doing fine.
Yeah.
You guys are doing fine. Business is good. You guys are working.
Yeah.
And so I think there's this all of these shitty myths that about unions or the union, that it's this boogeyman, and I think that's the biggest misunderstanding that I personally, and I know IUPAT as a whole with the Building Union Power campaign is trying to do, but is trying to remind the world, but more importantly our members, that a union is a group of, you just said it, it's a group of workers who have come together and are basically demanding a fair price for our product, which is our labor.
Yeah. And one thing my dad always told me, he said, look, if you want to get ahead in life, there's going to be sacrifices. And you can either go to college and you can sacrifice your money and your time, or if you go do construction or a trade, you develop a skill set, you're going to sacrifice your time, but then also, you're probably going to sacrifice a little bit of your body as well.
A little bit.
And it's getting better. It is far better for me as a blue collar worker than it was for my dad.
Sure.
In terms of,
I've seen footage of the old days.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
People climbing I-beams with their hands. Dude, no,
Dude,
thanks,
dude.
man.
They
were crazy.
There's a clip that, so Kellen works with the IU, works with us a lot, but they found this really great clip of the Space Needle being built, and it's 188 Glazers up there. Holy shit, dude. We're going to put it on social media soon, so you'll see it, but oh my God, dude, like I'm just watching that going, no fucking way.
Yeah,
No way.
no thanks.
But you bring up a great point. These jobs they break your body down.
Yeah.
And this actually reminds me of another good point, again, bringing up the Building Union Power campaign that IUPAT is doing. But our general president, Jimmy Williams Jr., has been going to each district council along with his team and basically training us on how to reconnect with our members. That's a very short version of putting it. And one of the things he brought up that really kind of moved me and made me go, oh, yeah, was he talked about, decades ago, it used to be the older person on the job, which tended to be a man at the time, so the older guy. Today, there seems to be this culture of he's slow, he's getting in the way, we got to get this shit done, barrel through him, move him out of the way, get him off my job, whatever.
Yeah.
Back then, it was, that dude's been here a long goddamn time. His body's broken down because he's given so much to this job, our union, and made sure that I know how to do this job well.
Yep.
Let's make sure he continues to work until retirement. And so you find maybe easier jobs or whatever. And it almost makes me want to cry because I think about my grandfather who worked construction in a small town in Illinois. There weren't any unions there, but it was a family-owned construction company that actually were like aunts and uncles to me. And Wesley, my grandfather, he got to a certain age and he didn't quit because he wanted to be out in the truck on the job sites with folks. So until the day he died, he was working half days. And I say it with air quotes because they did just that, right? It may not have been a union company, but there was that culture of he's given his entire life to this thing. Let's make sure we can keep him around for a while if he wants to. So they had him just driving a truck and taking, lumber here or, taking a handful of bolts to that job site or whatever it was. But there is this notion that I think we need, not a notion, but this culture, this belief, this practice that we need to return to, which is going back to talking about being neighbors and looking out for each other. Let's take care of each other.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people don't, I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that just, if somebody decides that they don't want to work union or something like that, you can find a good company. I mean, look, if I'm being honest, you can find a company that will take care of you, sure. But that's going to be harder.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. Somebody's welcome to prove me wrong.
I call it fact, though.
Yeah. And you go to the union because all of us here have decided that we want better for ourselves. And so it is a place that you go to because we have all said no.
Yeah.
We deserve to get this because we're developing a trade.
Yep.
We're getting a skill set that not everybody wants to do.
Yep.
And, it can be dangerous, but it is getting safer. But also, that's one of the things that, like I said, my dad says you have to sacrifice some things sometimes if you want to get ahead in life.
Your dad seems like a smart man.
He is.
Yeah.
He is very smart.
Yeah.
And,
Well, so we haven't spent much time talking about the apprenticeship aspect here. That you're an apprentice. I'm sorry, you say what year?
Third year.
Third year. So you've got roughly another year to go.
Yeah.
Till you journey out. And so I know, again, I'm 46 years old, graduated high school in 1997, and when I was coming up, it was all about, you got to go to college, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. And I'm not talking shit about it. College is great. It led to great things for me. But that doesn't have to be the only route. And not once did I ever have anybody come to me and say, you could be in a trade and be making, at the time, it probably wasn't six figures, but, today you could be making six figures in the trade.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody told me I could have a pension. Nobody told me I could have all of these things right out the gate at 18 years of age. So to wrap up until our next conversation, because I have a feeling you're probably going to be returning to these union halls, man. You seem to. And so you've made the decision to, become an apprentice, to take on a trade, to learn a trade, to master a trade, to become a union member, a father, a homeowner, all of these things. I think you've done a great job of explaining to everybody who may watch this that it's very achievable, not only achievable, but beneficial. With all of those things, what does your future look like? I know it's not an easy question, but sitting here today, what do you think your future holds?
Me and my wife actually have talked about kind of when the legal side and stuff of my son's is wrapped up. We actually would like to start an organization to help abused kids that are just kind of being swept under the rug by the system and things like that, and just kind of forgotten, and help parents and stuff that are trying to push their children's cases forward. And so I think that's something that we're gonna dive into in the future.
That's beautiful. Anything that I can do, anything that, and I think you already know this, but I'm sure anybody here in these halls of IUPAT, let us know. Gladly would help lift any kind of that weight off of your shoulders.
Yeah, and I mean, any of the, my wife's social media handles, the Facebook, the Instagram, and the
we're going to definitely
TikTok,
share those for sure.
Plug them in here right now. I don't know.
We definitely will. I
had her text them to me, but I don't know.
Like I said, I've already connected to a couple of them, so we'll find them. But we'll definitely share those and let the world know that, if they want to help, that they could reach out to us and we get you connected. But yeah, man, I'd like to keep talking for like another hour to let people your age and younger know how easy it is to get here, right? And
before we step away too, just another thing that people don't know about unions as a whole, and this is to generalize them, is what they've actually done for people in the workplace. And so having a 5-day work week and having 2 days off, that's union. Yeah. Children not being at work,
that's union.
That's union.
Yeah. Which is scary though, because if you over the past handful of years, there are cases of child labor happening in this country. Yeah. And some of the most dangerous places, losing limbs and everything else. So that is something I think is a discussion. Maybe we'll have you again, man, because I think we could keep talking for a long time here. But
big time.
and we will talk about that. But that is something too that I think the world needs to remember is, this isn't just about child labor from the early 1910s and all of that. This is today. This shit is happening today.
Yeah.
And so while there's some very beautiful things that you've shared about how it's affected your life, there's some screwed up shit in this world that I personally believe, and everybody that is part of this organization believes, this is where one of the main places it starts to be fixed.
Yeah.
And that's what I think what I was trying to tell the group of, young apprentices when I came in front of, and there was, I don't remember her name. I think it was Chelsea, but, she had some really great questions, and I felt like it was kind of, maybe grilling me a little bit because maybe she's on the fence about this whole union thing, and I get it. I get it. But I just, I'm hoping that, you know what? We can wrap this up by me saying this. I'm extremely grateful for you, Donovan. I'm extremely grateful for you, Harry. I'm extremely grateful for every one of our brothers and sisters here, but very much so for people like you who are willing to sit here and tell the world that this is not a boogeyman. This won't solve all the world's problems, but it sure as hell fixes a lot of them, and it makes life livable. It makes life livable, affordable.
It's not like you were saying, it's not the union, it's our union, but I would even go far as to say that we are the union. And so it's not an individual, or an entity. Mm-hmm. It's everyone in it.
Yeah.
It's everyone's deciding, no, you can't pick on them. Yeah. No, you can't pick on me. Mm-hmm. No, that's it. That's the end of the case. We all deserve this because we are doing something that is important. And you should be compensated for that. It's not a question. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You deserve to be compensated for your time because your time is more important than any currency out there. I don't care what it is, because you can never get your time back.
And this is the one thing I always mention too when we start talking about your time, and I think your story very much illustrates, it's not just your time. Yeah. This is your kids' time, your wife's time, because your time away from them, that's their time too. Yeah.
And people shouldn't be working 3 jobs just to be able to afford their rent.
Dude,
that's not cool.
Agreed.
People should not be doing that. People should. Our grandparents and great grandparents used to be able just to work a factory job and buy a house, have kids, have a family, go on vacations. Have 4th of July parties, do all that stuff. Yeah. You can't do that anymore.
Agreed.
Not with a lot of the current things that are going on. And so I think it's super important for people, especially people that are going to be, in a trade. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be this one. Mm-hmm. Find the union for what you want to do.
Agreed. And if you can't, form one.
Yeah. If you can't form one, be the start of it.
Yep.
Because it's so important. Mm-hmm. Because you should, like I said, you should be compensated. Yep. It's not a matter of like, oh, I want this. No, you should have this.
You've earned this.
You earn this. Yep. It's yours. Yep. You are doing something for somebody. And yes, your employer should make a buck.
Yep.
Because they are fronting the business. Right. They're the ones with their necks out.
Right.
They should make money too. But that doesn't mean that you should just make pennies.
Right.
You should be compensated fairly. Mm-hmm. You should make sure that you can have a life. Mm-hmm. And it's not a question. It's not up for debate, not in my opinion.
Well, with every bit of that, man, you've just proven exactly my initial thoughts on who Donovan is when we first met you, man. You're a hell of a union brother. You're a hell of a man. You're a hell of a human being, neighbor, friend, all the things, man. Father, husband. And I can't tell you how glad I am that you're sitting here with us today. And I hope you keep, I know you will, but I hope others in your situation, I hope your story resonates with anybody who watches this and they come show up too. Because I know you'll be out there talking to them, man, and I know we'll see your face again. And I'm inviting you right now to come back and do this again for another 2 or 3 hours, man, and bring Archie, bring whoever. Yeah. And bring some of your apprentice friends that might want to do this. But either way, man, the last thing I'll say is thank you. Thank you, brother. I'm glad you're here. So.
Nicely done. Perfect. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me.